Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Dee, and this is Dee's Reading Lounge. This is where I'm sharing my love for reading at my own pace. Welcome if you are new. If you like all things bookish, I do invite you to subscribe down below. And if you are returning, thanks so much for coming back once again. So let's go ahead and get into this video. So it only took one book, and I was hooked. Okay, that is the tagline I'm using for this video, I think. One book, and I went on a book buying binge for these particular authors that I'm going to share with you. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first author, I read his first book only last month, and it only took one, y'all. It only took one, and I was like, okay, I love his writing. He's brilliant. When I read this book, I was like, this is a very unique concept. However, I could see the psychology of someone doing this, even though it is crazy. I could not imagine anyone ever doing this, but I can definitely see wanting a girl and being disappointed, but never to this extent. And so you should know by that little scenario that I gave, I'm talking about Daniel Black's Perfect Peace. It only took this book, and y'all, I was hooked. This book was so good. I did a reading vlog on this, and if you haven't watched it, I will leave it down below. I'm not going to go into details because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 authors to talk about. But this is the book that hooked me. And so let me tell you the other books that I bought from him. So far, I read The Coming. That was the first one that I bought after reading Perfect Peace. I did purchase Don't Cry for Me on my Kindle. I purchased that. So here is the cover. And I purchased this a few days ago. This book was only $1.99. Okay. So yeah, I have been limiting my purchases on Amazon just because, I don't have to go into that. I was buying some essentials on Amazon, and I said, oh, let's go check the book section, see what they got. And I always check or type in the search engine book deals. So all the sales will come up. And lo and behold, this one came up. However, you know what? As much as we think things has changed, things have not changed that much, you guys. And I know I'm going on a little rant. I promise it will be short. But this book did not immediately come up. It was all the other books that came up. And I had to specifically put in the search engine deals on Black books or Black authors. And then this came up. But you know what? That still happens. Even on here on YouTube as well. When I'm looking for a new booktube creator, Black booktube creator, I have to dig and be specific. They just don't automatically come up. And I think I've been hearing something about Barnes and Nobles as well. But I just want to point it out. Our books are not books that they are going to stop. Okay. Just because they're Black books, it's not mainstream. It's, quote, not relatable to the majority of the population, I guess. Anyway, I'm going on this rant, but I was really upset by this, and that makes me want or wish I could stop purchasing from Amazon. Anyway, so it only took one book, and I went down a rabbit hole, and I purchased Don't Cry for Me. I purchased Black on Black. This is one of his older books. I'm not going to show you on here. I'm just going to mention it because this Kindle takes a long time. They really need to update this thing. This thing is so slow. I'm just ranting today, y'all. Please forgive me. Listen to the Lambs by Daniel Black. I think that is the next one that I'm going to read. The premise sounds are so good. And I will be getting Isaac's Song too next month. I will be purchasing that next. Well, you know what? I probably won't purchase it because you can only purchase it in hardback form. And I'm a paperback girl. And I just refuse to purchase I have. If it's a nonfiction, like a memoir or something like that book I have back here, King, I love the fact that that is in hardback form because I love the spine on it. And I love how, let me show you. Here it is. I love how this book looks in hardback. It's a memoir. I don't mind purchasing hardbacks for memoirs and nonfiction, but I generally like paperbacks. So we're going to hold off until the paperback is published. So I might not get around to reading Isaac's Song until next year, which is okay with me because I don't want to read all of his books and have no books left from my favorite author, Daniel Black, to read. Okay, so that's Daniel Black, and I am going ahead and saying it. He is my newest favorite author. I just absolutely love his writing. If you have not read Perfect Peace or The Coming, please make it a priority. Okay. They are hard reads, but sometimes hard reads are necessary to open your perspective and mind to other people who are not like you. Especially in Perfect Peace, it did open my mind up to some topics that I probably had a narrow view on. So the next author, where it only took one book and I was hooked, is Jesmyn Ward. This is Men We Reap by Jesmyn Ward. It only took this one book, and I was like, okay, I love her writing. Her writing is very literary. She writes literary fiction about the human experience of the Black community, specifically in the South. I'm hopeful that the next book that I read by her, which is Let Us Descend, here it is, will be a hit because it's a historical fiction. This is about a young enslaved girl who is sold south by the white enslaver who fathered her as she descends from the rice fields of the Carolinas to the heart of Louisiana sugar plantation, and what she encounters once she gets there. So this is right up my alley. I'm hoping that this one will hit better than the last book that I read by her. So I purchased this one. I've got Salvage the Bones. This is the one I just recently read, but I did not like the storyline 100%. The writing was spectacular, but the storyline just did not sit well with me. And then I have Seeing Unburied Sing. So these are all the books that I purchased, but it only took this one book to reel me in to wanting to buy more books. Okay, so the next author is no other than, you already know if you've been watching my channel, and I have a few people on here to thank, and that is Donna's Book Addiction. I think she really pushed and encouraged me because I saw her talking about books. I knew about Miss Beverly years and years ago, but to be honest, I was being a little vain about how her books came. Her books, they are traditionally published, but most of them are in paper, the pocket book form, or what do you call that, mass paperback form. So that turned me off. I was like, you know what? It's not all about what the book looks like on the outside. It's what's inside those pages that count. So it only took this book right here, which is Josephine. It is a YA historical romance. She writes historical romances about this young lady named Josephine and her love interest, and her trying to navigate her life or set up her future. Josephine was very smart. She was very ambitious. She knew what she wanted. She didn't think she wanted love, but when, I believe his name is Morgan, I don't remember these people's name, Adam Morgan came in again. So it's like a friends to lovers type situation because she knew him growing up when she was a kid. And the story, beautiful story, innocent story, takes off from there. So it only took that book, and I was like, okay, Miss Beverly, we got to see what other books you got. So these are out of order. I've showed these before, but quickly, I believe this is her first novel. I cannot wait to read this one. This one is Night Song. I think this is her first novel. Then these are all out of order, okay? But she has a lot of series. I've got To Catch a Raven. I've heard good things about this one. Indigo, beautiful cover. I've read this one, which is Belle, which is a companion to Josephine. We've got Breathless. I read this one and loved that. That is book number 2 of the Old West series. This is book number 1 of the Old West series, which is Forbidden. Ron is so fine. Perfect. Okay. Then I've got Wild Rain, which is on my summer TBR. The series is list. I've got Deadly Sexy. This is a more contemporary book. Then I've got Rebel. So It only took Josephine, and I was like, okay, let's see what else you got. And her books were quite affordable on Amazon. All right, so the next and last author, okay, because I need to wrap this up, J. California Cooper. So I read this years and years and years ago, okay? But so many books, so little time. After reading this years and years ago, I never got back to reading any of her other works, but this one is so good. But it is a historical fiction about Black people in the South, I know, and it does involve struggle, but not only struggle, it's got some hope in this book too. This book just brought out a lot of emotions and feelings. You were really rooting for the characters. They were almost like your family. It's like, okay, Miss J. California Cooper, let's see what other books that you have. So I've been collecting her books over the years, and I believe I own all of them. So let me show you all the books that I have by her. I've got The Wake of the Wind. I've got In Search of Satisfaction, Some Soul to Keep. Her books are relatively short. I've read this one just recently, loved it. It is a book of short stories, funny. If you haven't read it, I'd suggest you read this. The Matter is Life. Family. The Future Has a Past. I believe these are short stories as well. She has a lot of short stories, and her short stories are so freaking funny, y'all. So funny. And like about people making dumb mistakes in life, which we all do, like common sense things. Homemade Love. And we've got Some Love, Some Pain. So it only took one book, and I was hooked, y'all, for all of these authors. I've got a lot of reading to do because it's so many books, so little time, y'all. But I do want to prioritize reading from my favorite authors. Now, Jesmyn Ward is on the fence with me, because her latest book that I read didn't work. Not the latest book, but the second book didn't work. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that I will like her work because she writes beautifully. I just didn't like the story. It was more the story and not the writing. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what author that you read from. It only took one book and you were hooked and you went down a rabbit hole and bought all their books. I know y'all can relate, okay? Because I be watching y'all videos and I'm like, she read one book and she bought all the books, okay? I'm right there with you. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and be blessed. Bye.